Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're just going to give everyone a few minutes to file in. Welcome to the town hall. I have hundreds of attendees registered for this town hall. We're so excited to see you all here. We'll give you just another minute or two. And of course, in true pre-pandemic, post-pandemic webinar fashion, introduce yourselves in chat. We'd love to see you, hear where you're from, where you're joining us from. Let's get to know each other.
I see a lot of familiar names.
Oh, chat is disabled. Well, that's fun. Sorry, guys. We'll try to figure that out and we'll get started. Okay. Should be able to chat with everyone now. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so let's jump in. We have a packed agenda for everyone today. Thank you again so much for joining us for this special town hall. My name is Jessica Flores. I'm the Chief Experience Officer for Tourism Cares, and I am thrilled to be joined by more than 100 of you today here in our audience and with all of the amazing people on this webinar today. I know you're all anxiously waiting to hear what we have up our sleeves, so let's jump right in and get to it. Just really quickly, during our meeting today, you'll hear a few words from our leadership from the 4 organizations that have come together to form this special partnership: the Cultural Heritage Economic Alliance, the Travel Foundation, the U.S. Cultural and Heritage Marketing Council, and Tourism Cares. We think it's important you all understand who we are individually to show how our work intersects. We'll get into more detail on the Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit and hear from very special guests and partners in Virginia. And then we will give you, our audience, the floor. So just a few quick housekeeping notes before we jump in. This session will be recorded and it's being shared and closed captioning is enabled. And like I mentioned, we will be opening up the session toward the end to our audience because we want to hear from you. What questions do you have? What do you want to see come out of the summit? What topics would you like to see addressed? Please use the Q&A function throughout the presentation as things come to you, and we'll make sure to include them during the open forum. And if you need any further information on the summit, you can learn more at powerofpartnershipsummit.com. Okay, so let's get started. I'll turn it over to Stephanie Jones to talk to us more about the Cultural Heritage Economic Alliance. Stephanie?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Hello, can you all hear me?
You're good, we can hear you.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Welcome everyone, and thank you for taking the time to participate. It's an honor to be here with my peers and partners in this summit journey that we're very excited to share today. I am the founder and CEO of the Cultural Heritage Economic Alliance and the founder of Blacks in Travel and Tourism. CHIA works to create inclusive and equitable opportunities for underrepresented and underserved small BIPOC tourism businesses so that they can actively participate and profit in the local tourism ecosystems. You can learn more about CHIA at chiaglobal.org, and you can also learn more about Blacks in Travel and Tourism at blacksintourism.org. Thank you all again for being here.
Hi, I'm Greg Takahara, and I'm the CEO of Tourism Cares. Welcome everyone this afternoon. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties, so I am joining you via my iPad versus my computer. But Tourism Cares unites the travel and tourism industry and acts as a catalyst for positive social, environmental, and economic impact for the people and places of travel. We like to say that we are the people and places of travel dedicated to the people and places of travel. And we like to action it through uniting, inspiring, and activating. And we look at the summit and raise the level of all those three particular actions. Looking forward to having you in Richmond with us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeremy Sampson, the CEO of the Travel Foundation. I'm talking to you here from Bristol in the United Kingdom. I've spent the week with my team all together this week, which has been fantastic. And we've talked about this event so many times, so it's really exciting to be here having our big launch event. Great to see everybody, and so proud to be a part of this collaboration with our partners and our hosts. It's going to be an amazing journey that really builds on much of the work we've been doing over the last several years to build coalitions and to bring people together through the Future of Tourism Coalition, which is hosting our first annual summit next week in Athens, Greece, and the Glasgow Declaration on Climate Action in Tourism, of which this event will help to support, bringing together the concepts of community culture and climate, and demonstrating how our industry's transformation supports each of those important pillars. The Travel Foundation is a global nonprofit organization which has been in operations for 20 years, at the same amount of time as our friends at Tourism Cares. So we'll be celebrating our 20th birthday next year as part of the Power Partnership Stewardship Summit. We are an organization that works with tourism businesses and governments to maximize the benefits of tourism for destinations, the people who live there, and the environment that they depend on. Richard?
And good morning from California. My name is Richard Peterson. I'm the president and CEO of the U.S. Cultural Heritage Marketing Council. The organization really is focused and centered upon creating bespoke partnership collaborations with both national and international partners. And on this call, you have a representation of really a very diverse group of organizations that, while we may cross over in some of the work that we do have unique perspectives and the opportunity to bring a broader conversation in what we're going to be sharing with you today, and as we get ready for the big announcement. We collaborate, the U.S. Cultural Heritage Marketing Council collaborates with our partners to execute those marketing solutions, business insights, research, marketing, business development. And it really comes down to communities, culture, commerce, and really the opportunity for everyone to have a seat at the table when it comes to what cultural tourism means across both business entities, nonprofits, as well as municipalities. So when we think about cultural tourism and cultural heritage marketing, the conversation is broad, the opportunities are deep, and the playing field is wide. So we look forward to having this journey with you. And to learn more about our organization, the website is there at uschmc.com. Thank you.
Oh, Stephanie, you're on mute. Sorry. Classic.
You're still on mute, Stephanie.
How about now?
You're doing great.
Somebody had to do that, right? Why not me? All right, terrific. Thank you. Well, I want to talk about why there's a need for the Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit, and why now. Well, good tourism requires good stewardship of the rich cultural heritage found throughout destinations around the world. It also requires prioritizing and aligning community-based tourism with economic development and destination marketing, and it requires meaningful practices in climate action. Sustainable change requires strategic partnerships, and the Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit represents an opportunity to come together and envision a collaborative and inclusive future for travel and tourism. The future of travel and tourism industry hinges on cross-sector collaboration. Broader diversity, inclusion, and equity in our industry requires continual, intentional investment. And the summit offers destinations and brands tangible opportunities to showcase DEI in action by amplifying small multicultural suppliers and increasing diversity and participation of BIPOC travel professionals and businesses. Culture, community, and climate are at the forefront of the future of tourism. Both domestic and international visitors want more, and they expect better stewardship from our industry. In a continued challenging economic time for businesses and individuals, a focus on building tourism around communities, culture, and climate provides a strategic direction and path forward for travel and tourism. The planet demands it, and consumers are seeking it out, and businesses are now realizing that good stewardship of culture, community, and climate are good for their bottom lines. COVID-19 taught us how fragile our industry is and what can happen when our most visited destinations stop receiving tourists altogether. It taught us the good and it taught us the bad. And as travel and tourism continue to crawl out from under the pandemic, there is a need to radically change the way the industry manages stewardship with destinations and the people who live and work there. And now is the time to embrace the power of partnership and to work collaboratively to become better stewards of the people we serve, the places we live and work, and to sustain our planet for future generations. Jeremy?
Thank you, Stephanie. And it's all I can do to keep myself from nodding aggressively whenever Stephanie talks, because always such a good job of teeing up and framing up the why around this event and this partnership. So, you know, when I think about this topic and how these three areas intersect, I always think about a Venn diagram and how at the end of the day, you know, in travel and tourism, there are places that everyone is sharing, communities that everyone is sharing, assets that everyone is sharing, and visitors that everyone is sharing too. And the place that these three topics tend to come together is in this concept and this term that we like to use, which is destinations. And beneath the surface, the challenge that comes with managing destinations and bringing people to places are some root causes that we have spent several years trying to tackle. First to identify, bring to the surface, and tackle. And as Stephanie lays out, the future of our industry requires not only tackling those root issues, but identifying those shared opportunities for change. And I don't think that we can afford any longer to tweak business as usual and expect that we will have the dramatic transformation that will help us address these three pillars. So when I go around speaking, the keynote speech that I love to give is entitled Adapt or Die. And I know it sounds really dramatic, but the reality is what's happening around us is pretty dramatic too. The planet itself is suffering. Communities have called for radical transformation. We've had significant calls from communities, from consumers, and from our society to adapt to the global call for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And if we're going to look at dramatic change, we need to look at how we're going to adapt our industry. That means looking at real change across our supply chain, real change in the tourism product and experience, and the way that is delivered and experienced by visitors who are coming to our beloved destinations, protecting the infrastructure and environmental assets that our destinations depend on, and creating very real policy frameworks that will not only support never-ending growth, but support us to change and redefine what success looks like in order to protect those very communities and that infrastructure that our people and places depend on. And ultimately, we also believe that it's time for us to look at how the industry continues to earn its social license to operate, creating better opportunities for people who work in our industry and people who visit our places, to experience a tourism sector that's serious about transformational change. So when we talk about adapt or die, we're talking about genuine transformation to a tourism sector that's much more equitable, much more resilient, and ultimately positive for the climate. The COP27 annual climate change conference is coming up in November in Sharm el-Sheikh. It will be 1 year since we helped to launch the Glasgow Declaration on Climate Action in Tourism, of which I know many of you are signatories, including several of our partners here at the table, at the virtual table. And one of the topics for this year's COP27 will be the launch of our Envision 2030 research project, through which we have been working with some partners in academia, industry, and destinations to demonstrate the pathways remaining to achieve the ambitions of the Glasgow Declaration on climate action and the global targets that have been set for our planet as we work together to align with the international agreements like the Paris Agreement and the call from the scientific community. What we also hope to do is to try to understand what does tourism need to look like in 2030 if we're to not only achieve those climate targets, but begin this transformation towards a more equitable and environmentally friendly future. So I want everyone to start thinking about what 2030 looks like for you. So when we come together next year, we can have some really serious conversations about what transformation and adaptation looks like within your own context. Greg?
Thanks, Jeremy. When we originally came together to discuss a potential partnership, there were first talks about co-locating our own events, finding spaces for our respective attendees to commingle. But we found that the intersection of our own work was too important to keep separate. So we decided to organize a unique event under the banner of our 4 brands. The Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit is a 4-day trade show that offers attendees broad opportunities for education, inclusive connections to new people and suppliers, and new experiences. We've taken what are traditionally education tracks within trade shows and made them the focal point here. Our hope is that through participating in the summit, attendees will be provided with strategic direction to combat climate change and instill broader knowledge and strategy for leveraging cultural heritage and community-based tourism. This will enhance existing itineraries and help to develop and market new product, attracting inbound travelers seeking local, authentic, diverse experiences. We want to increase the number of travel companies approaching their strategy with climate, community, and culture as guiding principles and connect the dots between sustainability, DEI, and ROI. Richard?
Thank you very much. Well, as we know, and as Greg and Stephanie and Jeremy have really talked about, that this summit is going to be transformational. And it's going to be an opportunity to really bring together all the inclusive players in travel and tourism. So as Greg just mentioned, this 4-day program will allow the attendees to come together and engage in meaningful conversations, gain best practices through the discovery that'll be happening, and really make sure that we're intersecting culture, community, and climate at the very center of our business entities, business practices, our destinations, and our communities, large and small, as we explore the power of strategic partnerships with a keen focus, a very targeted focus on amplifying multicultural assets and so much more. The opportunities are really building and building fast. Greg?
We plan to invite local BIPOC suppliers to join us and make connections to buyers from all over the world. And we won't limit ourselves to what happens on the trade show floor. We will get out into the community to fully immerse ourselves, meet the locals, get to know their product, roll up our sleeves in true Tourism Cares fashion to give back through volunteering and leave a positive economic impact in Richmond by working with local suppliers and vendors. The Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit represents 4 days of what we can do when we all come together. But the most important element of the summit is what happens after, what we will commit to when we leave. Richard?
Well, the ideas and knowledge that we are going to be sharing together, along with the meaningful connections to come, will be a catalyst, as we've been talking about, for collective action, for real action to realize the power of partnership.
So please save the date to join us all at the summit. Fill out the form to submit your interest in attending or sponsoring, and learn more about the event on our website, www.powerofpartnershipsummit.com. And now I'll turn it back over to Stephanie to introduce our special guests from the state of Virginia.
Thank you, Greg. So by now, hopefully you all know that our host destination for the Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit will be Richmond, Virginia. Yay, Richmond. So why Richmond? Well, Richmond, Virginia was chosen as the inaugural destination to host the summit for its rich cultural heritage and its ability to leverage tourism as an economic driver for fueling its local BIPOC businesses and communities. The city of Richmond and Richmond Region Tourism both actively invest in supporting Black-owned businesses and creating equitable opportunities for them to thrive and scale. Engaging BIPOC stakeholders in its local tourism ecosystem was a key requirement in choosing the destination to host the summit. So it's my pleasure to introduce Catherine O'Donnell, who's the Executive Vice President of Richmond Tourism. Now, Catherine loves the Richmond region and has spent 20 years at Richmond Region Tourism promoting and advocating for it. She provides strategic leadership to help the organization grow the Richmond region's tourism sector and improve the quality of life for residents. Thank you for joining us, Catherine.
Thank you for having us. We are honored, thrilled to be selected as the host destination for the inaugural Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit. It's a joy to be on this call and see so many people from around the world and different sectors in our industry, and we cannot wait to get to know you and learn from you when you're in Richmond next year. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about what we call RVA. That's the Richmond area's nickname. And we're, again, just so thrilled to have you. The Richmond region is a diverse cultural and historic gateway. And our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion isn't just something that we do, it's who we are as a destination. The Richmond region is the birthplace of the Black journey in America. Studies show that 1 in 4 African Americans in the United States have roots in Richmond. Richmond's past is a difficult one. We were the center of the trade of enslaved people. We were the capital of the Confederacy, but that is not who we are today. The transformation that we're experiencing in present day Richmond is rooted in honest reckoning of the past and the recognition of the undeniable resilience and enduring legacy of Black history, culture, and excellence. We welcome and support diverse and multicultural meetings, conventions, and group tours through best practices that support responsible sourcing, equitable partnerships, and business impact across all departments in our organization, both internally and externally. We are the proud home of culturally driven festivals like the Africana Independent Film Festival, the Black Street Conference, the Down Home Family Reunion, and our longtime supporters of the No Madness Travel Tribe. We are home to unmatched intellectual capital and community stewardship, Alegba Folklore Society, Jackson Ward Collective, the Jackson Project, and so much more that we cannot wait to show you. And Black RVA, this is Richmond Region's community-driven campaign to highlight and celebrate Black cultural experiences. This was launched in 2019 and is one of our flagship programs. It was designed to shine a spotlight on the vibrant Black and Brown tourism ecosystem in RVA And the initiative has really evolved to support Black entrepreneurship through business-to-business mentoring programs with some of our corporate partners like Capital One and CarMax that are based in Richmond. We have grant opportunities and internships with HBCUs and SWAM certification training. Black community, Black businesses, and Black culture continue to flourish in this region, making it more vibrant than ever before. We are rooted and we are rising, and we can't wait to welcome the power of partnership to our home, and we can't wait to learn from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Catherine. We can't wait either. Now it's my pleasure to introduce one of our community partners for the summit, Melody Joy Short. Melody is the co-founder of the Jackson Ward Collective, a hub for Black business owners and selected partners to share resources, experiences, and expertise to build and grow strong, sustainable Black-owned businesses in Richmond. Welcome, Melody.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Stephanie. We are, as you know, incredibly excited that Richmond has been selected as the host destination for the Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit. As a co-founder of the JWC Foundation, or the Jackson Ward Collective, where our mission, learn, grow, and own in the Black community, is rooted in leveraging our collective networks, resources, and information to build sustainable Black-owned businesses, whether it be through the foundational educational courses that we offer through our Community Business Academy, the individualized business coaching of our flagship, the Jackson Ward Collective, or the annual gathering of Black business owners from around the country for our conference, the Black Street Conference. We assist Black business owners reach their short and long-term goals. And, you know, just having some thought around the importance of this, the summit coming to Richmond. You know, I'm thinking the partnership of our Black business community in the summit is wise and prudent, just generally speaking, but especially as we continue to recover from this pandemic. It was, you know, 3 times a pandemic for Black business owners. You know, here in Richmond, we are actually fortunate enough to have cultivated various platforms for Black business owners to launch, grow, and scale in our city. Richmond being the home of Jackson Ward, a former Black Wall Street community. And so we get excited about the opportunity to kind of create some additional visibility nationally for our city, but also to spotlight some organizations that have been doing the work, or organizations that have been created as a result of the need to support Black-owned businesses, such as Richmond Black Restaurant Experience, which ensures our culinary artists and restaurants are supported. Black-owned organizations like the Allia Folklore Society, which celebrate Africans and African Americans in their cultural city and throughout the community with the programming that they offer. The Richmond Night Market, which provides a space of commerce for artists in the community. And then, of course, the Jackson Ward Collective. But I also just like to add, you know, the participation of Black-owned businesses will position us to attract contracts and new business opportunities, but also to create an environment where we are responsive to the ever-changing needs of consumers, because when tourists are coming into town, they're coming in from all over the world. And so we want to always be flexible so that we can be accommodating to potential customers from all over. Ultimately, Black-owned business participation positions our small business owners in a way in which they can expand their brand visibility, increase their overall revenue, and be a part of the fabric and actively participate in cultural tourism experiences, which is very important. I know firsthand, my organizations have benefited firsthand from that participation and opportunities that we've been afforded here in Richmond. And so the goal is to get everybody on board so that we can collectively create this energy to support the summit coming to Richmond, but also attract additional tourism opportunities in the future. So we're super excited. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for choosing Richmond.
Thank you so much, Melody. We also have another community partner that will share Richmond's rich cultural heritage during the summit. Omalade Janine Bell is the founder and president of Allia, I believe I said that correctly, Allia Folklore Society. She is an artist, a folklorist, cultural historian, a producer, and an arts administrator. The Society is an African-centered cultural arts and education nonprofit that intends to strengthen connections within the African diaspora. Thank you for joining us, Omalade.
Thank you so very much for having me, and thank you for choosing Richmond.
Our pleasure.
We welcome the Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit from the Elegba Folklore Society. Richmond is the perfect place for you to gather. Here, there is a deep timeline of the African and African American presence. From the 1600s, in the recorded era, until now, there is a constant ancestral vibration in the spirit of the water, at the African landing, along the trail of enslaved Africans, at First African Church, born out of self-determination, and at those edifices and congregations that followed. A constant ancestral vibration around and on the interiors of buildings designed by Black architects. In the pyramids and tekens and papyrus columns that adorn the memories of many cultures, where the true meanings are hidden in plain sight. There's a deep timeline of African and African American presence in Richmond, in the Susu, reborn in Black-owned banks, in the protection of insurance companies and practices of medicine and law, in plentiful businesses, thank you to the Jackson Ward Collective, where too many of these remains are buried under I-95. Richmond is the perfect place to commemorate and understand how we got to where we are. Each story is its own authentic destination. The Elegba Folklore Society's Cultural Center will be nearby in the center of the city, filled with art and artifacts and material culture from around the African diaspora. Join us for a cultural history tour to lift the veil over these sites that we mentioned. Perhaps there might be a festival happening when you're in town, but certainly we can curate a performance that will fancy your spirit. Today, many seek knowledge, perspective, and connectivity and opportunity. Today, many are stewards, standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, are innovators, communicators, artists, educators, chefs, developers, motivators, creatives, and more. The ecosystem Catherine referred to, ready to share unique experiences to complement and fulfill the mission of the Power of Partnership Stewardship Summit, and fulfill you during the day and after hours. Visit Richmond, visit us. We're ready. Everybody take a breath. Now you get ready.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I had the pleasure of just participating in your tour when we were there for our site visit. And I want to thank you for sharing that experience, which was very touching, spiritual, and moving. And we're looking forward to the summit attendees also becoming immersed in that same rich cultural experience. So thank you. And we look forward to working with you.
We look forward as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And we are also pleased to have Virginia Tourism Corporation joining us today. Liza Mickens is the social media coordinator for VTC, and she creates content to highlight all that the Commonwealth has to offer, reaching consumers on the platforms that they use. Hello, Liza, and welcome.
Hello there. Hello. And on behalf of Virginia Tourism, we look forward to welcoming you to our state in 2023. This summit is an incredible initiative that will give us the opportunity to come together to create a more inclusive, sustainable future for travel and tourism. Virginia is home to some of our nation's earliest history, and because of that, we have become a catalyst for change and progress. And at VTC, we are dedicated to shining a spotlight on all the state has to offer, as well as those making an impact in their communities. In 2022, we began an ongoing campaign called Heart and Soul to highlight Black creators, trendsetters, and artists who help shape the culture of Virginia. And as one of our creators, Xavier Duckett from Roanoke, said, it all started with us. Black history and culture runs deep in Virginia with neighborhoods like Jackson Ward. My great-great-grandmother, Maggie Lena Walker, was instrumental in ensuring this neighborhood's success. She was the first African-American woman to found, charter, and serve as a president of a bank in the 1920s. And at the heart of her work was championing diversity and creating not just one seat at the table, but ensuring all were welcome at the table. And these stories make up the fabric of not just our state, but the nation, and are essential to tell the full story of all we have to offer. We're so lucky to have organizations in the city like Black RVA, JWC, Alegba, and the Black History Museum, whose mission is to preserve and uplift these stories. And traveling is our great connector. It's what brings all of us here today and will continue to unite us in the future. Travel has the power to change the world by broadening our mind and, most importantly, our hearts. With this forward-thinking mindset, we must protect our planet and make sure action is at the foundation of all of our work. Thank you to the organizations that have put this together and for bringing all of us together to take the future of travel and tourism into our hands. And we look forward to welcoming you to our beautiful state so you can see for yourself why Virginia is for lovers.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Liza. Now I would like to turn it back over to Jessica to field any Q&A that you all may have.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you to all of our speakers. I'm part of this planning committee and I'm so excited. Yeah, if anyone from our audience wants to throw questions to any of our speakers in the Q&A, if you have any questions about the summit, any requests for things you'd like us to discuss when we're there, we'd love to hear from you. Your feedback will help us in the planning phases of this program. We want it to be as inclusive as possible. So if you have questions, please throw them at us in the Q&A feature. We'll give everyone a minute, see if anyone wants to jump in. Okay, from an anonymous attendee, what ways can people get involved between now and the Power of Partnership Summit? Any one of our leaders want to take that on?
Well, sure. I was going to save that for the closing, but I'm happy to discuss it now. Well, one, there are many ways and opportunities for you to engage with the summit. We will have our sponsorship package available next week. So if you are interested in becoming a sponsor, one thing that I really want to point out, especially for any destination marketing organizations that's on the call today, is that we're having a trade show, but it's not your traditional trade show. It's actually called the Multicultural Marketplace. And we will have exhibitor opportunities, but instead of a booth, you can actually exhibit with a partner pavilion. And why is it called a partner pavilion? It's because we are being intentional about making certain that your small BIPOC suppliers are able to participate in the summit and to have an opportunity to meet with buyers and to be amplified. So this is a true opportunity for destination marketing organizations to show your assets. And then we want you to bring and invite some of your BIPOC suppliers to be a part of your partner pavilion. So we do have those opportunities available that are part of the sponsorship program. We need volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering with us, you can sign up through our website. If you're interested in becoming a speaker for the summit, We welcome you to again sign up through the website. There are many forms on our website for speakers, volunteers, sponsorship opportunities, as well as exhibit opportunities. So there are many ways that you can partner with us, and we welcome your partnership with us. So if you go to our website, powerofpartnershipsummit.com, you can find a form, an interest form. Please complete those forms, send them back to us so we can follow up with you and get you plugged in.
Amazing. Thanks, Stephanie. So I think that the good question on just audience and who's coming to the summit, is this event open to travel advisors?
Anyone else want to jump in?
Sure, I'll jump in. From an organization that truly, looks to be as inclusive as possible and also to really cover all segments of the travel and tourism marketplace, we obviously are welcoming not only the travel advisor community, but all communities within our industry. I think this is part of the collaborative spirit that we're trying to represent as for brands, and that is to bring in as diverse an audience as possible. It was referenced in some of the comments, the groundswell that we're seeing with regards to travelers who are taking a much more conscious and meaningful view toward their own travel. And we want to brace the travel advisor community with the tools necessary to meet their needs in terms of advising their clientele on destinations that really have put a lot of thought into this and really want to expand the experience to the local community. And this will be an opportunity for travel advisors to gain, hopefully, a lot of knowledge in that respect.
And if I can add to, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you care about these issues? Come on in.
Exactly.
Any or all of them.
More the merrier. Exactly.
Well, I just wanted to say specifically for travel advisors, this will be a great opportunity for you to learn about diverse tourism products and experiences that are found in destinations. Because as I mentioned earlier, DMOs will be able to showcase some of their multicultural assets. So you will be able to meet directly, with some of those BIPOC suppliers and to learn about all of the different multicultural products and experiences in destinations for you to sell to your customers.
Absolutely. And in addition to that, destinations that also want to showcase, as we were hearing a little bit earlier with some of our guest speakers here on the call today, about the diversity of neighborhoods and districts and historical areas that traverse all areas of arts, culture, and community. That's really important now more than ever. It comes down to the stories, but it's the individuals and the people that those stories connect to. So this is the opportunity to really thread that needle as we create the tapestry of conversation while we are there in Richmond and going beyond. It's about that action moving forward.
Absolutely. So we have a question on the format of the show. For a first-time attendee, can you please explain what the appointment sessions consist of?
Yes, there will be opportunities to meet with buyers, domestic and international buyers, on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday during the show. So the meetings will take place actually on the trade show floor at the partner pavilions, where you'll be able to meet one-on-one with small suppliers and destinations, or if you are a press representative or domestic or international buyer, you'll be able to schedule those meetings in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And will there be fam trips available to all the amazing places we've heard about so far today?
Yes. Yes.
There
will be pre-summit fam tours that will amplify and showcase the rich cultural heritage throughout Richmond. And there are some dynamic restaurants, so there will be opportunities to explore and dine with a lot of the wonderful restaurants that are located in the downtown area as well.
Perfect. And I think our last question, which kind of wraps this up really well, is when should we see more detailed registration, vendor information published online?
I would say give us until the next 30 days. We should have the website updated where you can actually start to register starting November 1st. But if you want more information about sponsorship information, that information will be ready next week. I'm sorry, that will be ready the first week of October.
Correct. Correct.
Did I miss anything, partners?
Covered it. We're good to go. Any other questions there, Jessica?
I think we got them all.
Good.
Okay, well, wonderful. Well, I will go ahead and wrap up. Again, thank you all so very much for taking the time to tune in, to hear our announcement, to learn more about the summit and what we have in store for you all. So I'm going to ask you to please save the dates of October 13th through the 18th, 2023, and plan to join us at the Power Partnership Stewardship Summit in Richmond. And we invite you to join us again as an attendee, a sponsor, exhibitor, speaker, or volunteer. You can learn more at our website, powerofpartnershipsummit.com. There are different forms that you can complete to express your interest in receiving more information. And if you want to request a sponsorship package, that information is on the website as well. Many thanks to our partners, Greg, Jeremy, Richard, and all of our speakers for today's town hall. And thank you all again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you all there next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.